Good morning, students. Today, let us go through a new phylum, that is phylum Coelenterata. So, in this slide, you will be observing some different examples of phylum Coelenterata. So, that will give you a quick recall, or the what you call the memory of the things that you have studied in PU classes. So, at this left hand top corner, you observe a kind of coelenterate member, that is nothing but brain coral, and next to which there will be a beautifully colored example, what is called as sea anemone or metridium, and on the right hand side of that you will observe the two different forms of the zooids of this coelenterate colony. In general, they are polyps and medusae. And below this brain coral you observe uh, an example, that is nothing but hydra, where you can see long tentacles which gives the appearance of a plant body, and below which the most popular coelenterate, what is known as Physalia, which is commonly called as Portuguese man of war. And on the bottom side of this you will observe another example, what is called as Porpita. So this phylum Coelenterata, it is also called as Cnidaria. The phylum Coelenterata term, it is derivative of a Greek term, that is koilos, which refers to hollow, and enteron refers to intestine. So it means that the members of this phylum Coelenterata have a body cavity which is resembling the hollow cavity that is present in the intestine of higher animals, and it does the function of both digestive system and the circulatory system. And coelentrates are the first metazoans which exhibit tissue grade of body organization, advanced in their level of organization than sponges, and this phylum includes about 11,000 species. And this phylum Coelenterata, it is also called as Cnidaria because the members of this phylum have specialized cells on their outer epidermis layer, what is known as cnidoblasts, which are also called stinging cells. Hence, the members are also called as cnidarians. Coming to some general characters or salient features of phylum Coelenterata. First one, all coelentrates are exclusively aquatic, majority are marine, while a few are freshwater forms. Second one, they are multicellular animals with tissue grade of organization. So as I told you already in the introductory part, they are the first group of animals which exhibit tissue grade of organization. If you can recall the things which you have studied in previous phylum, that is in Porifera, though they are multicellular animals, they exhibit cellular grid of body organization. Next one, they are diploblastic animals with an outer ectoderm and an inner endoderm. Between these two layers, there is a non-cellular mass is present called mesoglia. They are either radially or bilaterally symmetrical animals. They are acoelomate animals, that is, a definite body cavity or coelom is absent. The outer ectoderm has special type of cells called cnidoblasts or stinging cells or nematocysts. The secretion of these cells, when enters the body of the victim or captured prey, the victim becomes paralyzed or becomes inactive, and the captured prey will be easily entered into the body cavity, that is the GVC or coelenteron. These stinging cells are present in more number on the surface of tentacles, and stinging cells are the modified epidermal or endodermal cells, which helps in offense and defense as well as in food capturing. They have a small sac filled with a type of toxin called hypnotoxin and a long coiled thread-like tube bearing stylets or spines. At its anterior end, they have a spiny structure called nidocyl. So this is what the detailed structure of that nidoblast. So as you observe in that first slide, the first diagram on the outer epidermal layer, the nidoblasts are present. The enlarged view is shown in the next one, where you see the presence of nidocyte, and at the free end of which there will be the presence of spiny projections, what is called as nidocyl. And these nidocyls, when they are released at the time of capturing of prey, the discharged nematocysts will contain still more smaller spiny projections called barbs and a projection called filament, which will enter into the body of the victim or the prey and releases that fluid called hypnotoxin, due to which the prey becomes inactive or paralyzed. The still enlarged view of this nidoblast is being shown on the right hand side of this slide. As you see here, there will be the shaft, and on the surface of which stylet will be there, and the smaller projections, spiny projections called spines. And as I said earlier, a long thread-like tube is present, and it can be retracted inside and it can be projected outwards, depending upon the situation. Their body consists of a central large body cavity called gastrovascular cavity or coelenteron. It opens to the exterior through an opening called the mouth. Generally, the mouth is surrounded by a circlet of tentacles which help them in capturing the prey. Circlet means circular arrangement of the tentacles around the mouth. They have only external skeleton. It is calcareous and massive. They have both intracellular and intercellular type of digestion, a unique feature among animals because it is not seen in any other animal groups. And they have only mouth, but anus is absent, a very peculiar characteristic. Respiratory, circulatory, and excretory systems are absent. However, exchange of respiratory gases takes place through general body surface through a mechanism called diffusion. A nervous system is primitive type, consisting of a diffuse network of unpolarized nerve cells present below the epitheliomuscular cells derived from the epidermis. They are the first animals to develop nervous system, but in a very primitive way. Sense organs are poorly developed, like ocelli, statocysts, or tentaculocysts, which are the balancing organs. Majority of the coelentrates exhibit the phenomenon of polymorphism. Generally, they exhibit dimorphism, that is, a polyp and a medusa. Polyps are asexual, cup-shaped, and sedentary zooids, while medusae are free-swimming, saucer-shaped sexual zooids of the colony. Some may exhibit monomorphism, for example, hydra. Some are trimorphic, for example, obelia, and some are true polymorphic, example, physalia, halystemma, etc. Polymorphism is a phenomenon where a single organism or species have more than two or three types of zooids or individuals, varying in structure and functions, exhibiting division of labor. So basically, polymorphism is exhibited in order to distribute the work among the different structures of the same member or the same individual. They are unisexual animals. They exhibit both asexual and sexual methods of reproduction. Asexually, they reproduce by budding and regeneration, and sexually by the formation and fusion of gametes. They exhibit indirect type of development with a larval stage called planula. Majority of them exhibits alternation of generation or metagenesis. That is, a sexual phase is alternated by an asexual phase or vice versa. Coming to classification, the phylum Coelenterata includes three classes. They are: number one, hydrozoa. Majority of the members of this class are marine forms, except a few forms like hydra, which are freshwater forms. Members of this class hydrozoa are either sessile or colonial or solitary or sedentary. Most of the members of this class exhibit polymorphism with at least two types of zooids, that is polyp and medusae. Majority of the members exhibit alternation of generation, and GVC of the members is not divided into many chambers. GVC means gastrovascular cavity or coelenteron. Examples: Hydra, Obelia, Velella, Porpita, Physalia, which is also commonly called Portuguese man of war, and other examples, or etc. So this is a slide showing the different examples that comes under hydrozoa. On the first left hand top corner, you observe the presence of Obelia. As I said earlier, it exhibits trimorphic nature of the polymorphism. And on the right hand side of which you observe Physalia, and this Physalia, it exhibits the true polymorphism. And on the bottom side of this Obelia, you will come across with an example what is called as Velella. And on the right hand side of this, you will observe another good example what is called as Porpita, wherein you observe both the views, that is oral and aboral view. Coming to class 2, Anthozoa. All the members of this class are exclusively marine forms. They are either solitary or colonial. They have a cylindrical shaped body with either bilateral or radial symmetry. They are usually polypoid members, that is exhibiting mostly the polyp generation, that is asexual generation. The GVC of the members is completely or incompletely divided into many chambers by means of septae or mesenteries. Majority of the members are commonly called corals, and the form large mounds of corals called coral reefs. Examples: Tubifora, commonly known as tube coral; Madrepora, commonly known as horn coral; Fungia, also called mushroom coral; Astrea, commonly known as brain coral; Metridium, commonly known as sea anemone; and Gorgonia, commonly known as sea fan; and Pennatula, commonly known as sea pen, and other examples. So these are the pictures of the different members of this class Anthozoa. The first one, Tubifora, Metridium, and Telea, Anemone, and the Gorgonia, Fungia, Physalia, sorry, not Physalia, sea anemone or Metridium, and brain coral. Coming to class 3, Scyphozoa. All the members of this class are exclusively marine forms, and members of this class are commonly called jellyfishes. Generally, they exhibit true medusa forms, thus polypod generation is usually absent. Example: Aurelia, commonly known as jellyfish; Schizostoma, commonly known as large jellyfish. So these are the good photographs or the images of the different examples here. On the top side of the left top end of the left side, you come across with Aurelia medusa, which is the subumbellar view, and on the right hand side of which you observe Aurelia, which is showing the details, the internal details of the body of that animal, because it is a cut portion of the animal body. At the bottom of this, you will observe beautifully colored anemones, sorry, not anemones, the examples what are called as jellyfishes. Coming to comparative account of the three different classes like hydrozoa, scyphozoa, anthozoa. So if you go through this analysis or the comparison, you will definitely come across with some differences. Let me go through some of them. In hydrozoa, both polyp and medusa are present, and in scyphozoa, medusa is dominant, and in anthozoa, polyp is dominant. And coming to freshwater and marine form, that is there in hydrozoans, and in scyphozoa exclusively marine, anthozoa again exclusively marine. Next character, medusae neither cellular nor fibrous, that is in hydra collagen and elastin fibers are present. So medusa is neither cellular nor fibrous. Gonads ectodermal and discharge externally. Medusae neither cellular nor fibrous type, as I told you already. And in Scyphozoa, gonads endodermal and discharge internally. And in Anthozoa, gonads endodermal and discharge internally. Next character, under Hydrozoa, tentaculosis are absent. However, in Scyphozoa, tentaculosis are present in medusa, and even in Anthozoa it is present. Next, tentaculocytes absent in Hydrozoa, and in tentaculocytes are present in medusa, and in Anthozoa there will be the no medusa. And coming back to Hydrozoa, no mesenteries in polyp, mollusks are there in Scyphozoa, and the mesenteries are present even in Anthozoa. So these are some features by which you can have a comparison between the three different classes of phylum Coelenterata. Coming to some important terminologies that comes under phylum Coelenterata, that is glossary. Radial symmetry. It means the symmetry in which an animal can be divided into two equal halves along with any plane passing through the axis. And then cnidocytes, the cells of the organs and defense in cnidarians. Epidermis, outer cellular epithelial layer of the body wall. Gastrodermis, inner cellular epithelial layer of the body wall. Gastrovascular cavity, central and good cavity lined by endoderm, which has a dual function of digestion and transportation of food. Next is hydropropulsion. So propulsion of the medusae in upper direction by forcing water out of the body through alternate contractions and expansion of the body, that is muscles. Then hypnotoxin, as I said earlier, it is the proteinaceous poisonous fluid filled with a kind of fluid in the nematocyst which is injected into the prey for its capture. Manubrium, a central tubular projection in the body of medusae which bears a quadrangular mouth. Next, medusa. Umbrella-like free-swimming and sexual morphological form of the cnidarians. Mesoglia. This thick or thin, non-cellular jelly-like layer present in between two categories. Next, polyp. It is tubular, sessile and asexual members of the colony. Tentaculocysts. Modified tentacles that serve as the organs of balance and equilibrium. Totipotent cells, the undifferentiated embryonic cells and which are capable of differentiating to any other kind of cells and required gamete. So this is all about today's class, students. Let me stop at this level and continue the discussion in next class. Thank you.